Hello, everyone. I'm at Parcaut. I'm with Francisco Ruvalcaba Jr.
Junior. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. Were you ever just called Junior all the time?
Nah, no.
Junior, get in here.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that'd be like degrading, man. You don't get you know what I mean? Don't get your own names as Junior.
Dude, parents are parents, man. How many kids did your parents have?
Just my sister and I.
Oh, that's easier. So when you have 3 to 5 kids, you yell a name, and it's never the right kid's name that you're yelling at.
I mean, hey, my mom, she would even she'd call me my sister's name at time. It's like, yeah, like, it's like that instinct to just throw
say,
something
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Anyway, how's it going? How was did you do any open houses over the weekend?
I did. Yeah, I did.
How were they?
It was good. It was like super dead for like the first 2 hours, and then right at the end, that's usually how it works. It's kind of like around the end time.
That's why some people only do it for an hour.
Right.
You only have this time.
Yeah, but I'm like, for me, I mean, I'd rather just, I mean, some people got like different time frames and everything, but it does always really tend to be more like, I would say like 11 to 1,
right. And everybody shows up at 12:30.
Yeah, and it's like a rush. But yeah, I did one in Stockton. House, it was only 310,000.
Yeah, Stockton has some lower price homes.
Yeah, and it was actually a pretty good area too. I had a couple that came in and they lived there and they had just moved, and they were talking about they bought the place. It was vacant for months and no issues. Great neighborhood. So yeah, 310, which is great. I also actually saw so what the seller did for that property, they put a brand new roof on, but they like financed it with this company, and then once it sells, it's like zero interest for like I think a year or two. So once they sell, it's like just sell it with a brand new roof.
And it gets paid off. The loan gets paid off when they sell the place.
Exactly. So it's like a win-win.
So basically they get paid out of escrow whenever it closes.
Right. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty smart, especially because it's like that's always one of the big ticket items.
The roof, anything else, for other places could be septic, that kind of stuff. But roof is important. Yeah, I never understood the flippers who did everything inside but left the crappy roof.
I mean, it's always the crappy roof and the windows, man. Like those, you know what I mean?
I don't care about windows.
Yeah.
But I mean, the roof is the most expensive. And if it's an older shake roof or an older tile roof, there's no boards on it. So it costs a lot more to do it and make it right.
Oh, yeah. I redid my roof. I was, even with family, man, it was like $16,000. It's expensive.
Wow, they took advantage of you.
It's big. I mean, with the duplex
and the cost of the comp, that's
yeah.
what you did. I mean, that's so much more expensive than it was a few years ago. I had an original bid 4 years ago for my roof, and then finally did it, December right before the pandemic, or it was the following year, and it was a huge change, 30% increase.
Yeah, no, definitely. But that's the importance, right, of inspections. I was also going to say too, kind of how we wanted to lean into how the market's been recently, and it's
opportunity is fading.
It is. I actually submitted an offer the other day, and the sellers came back asking if we would be able to release contingencies, right? So we're seeing it a little bit more now. I know we were talking a little bit too off air how just when you consider the amount of people that are out looking right now, and like when we had that big break from like December to like early January, where it was just really, really dead, not really anything going on. And then like we were saying, the rates dropped to like around that 5.8
mark. They just dropped.
Yeah, exactly right. Rates did drop.
Because everybody's rates are going to be somewhat different.
Right.
Unless you check Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae, when they put their rate out, they assume like you're going to charge 2 points for that. That's the one thing I hate about that. Anyway,
misleading.
It's hate and dislike.
Yeah, no. That's too much. But yeah, no, like with when the rates dropped, a lot of people jumped back in. Mm-hmm. Rates went up. People didn't scram though. Right. People stayed looking
because they know they know that it's not on that the way it was before when rates are just going up and up and up and up, and no one knew when it was going to stop. So They thought it was Armageddon. It was over. The whole world was going to fall apart. Right, the bubble was coming, and now it's really the rates have been going down. I even said this, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago before all those numbers came out. The numbers coming out this month are probably going to be a little bit higher, not majorly, 1/10, 0.2%, and that's what they were. Just because you can't have a steady straight down. People take advantage of that going forward, so to buy certain things. Right in January, the numbers went up because December was so bad. I'm sure all the stores put their stuff on sale, and everybody went out in January after the holidays and went and bought a few things.
Right.
And so it showed the numbers up 3%, which is not that big of a deal, but everybody has seen it so bad. They was like, "That's amazing."
Right. And it's like, for me, the crazy part is because we had so many people, right, like that were waiting and waiting and waiting for the moment, right? Like we're going to wait till the rates go down and this and that. But it's like, I feel like some people, not trying to say that it's too late, but we plateaued, and it's like, there's not going to be like this crazy big drop that everybody was anticipating. Everything just stabilized. Like that's the best way to really put it, is that the prices are where they're at. I don't think that they're going to go much lower than where we're at, really.
They really didn't go that much lower. They just went a little bit lower because,
right. And that's the thing is, and that's why we go on air like this and try to educate everybody and let them know, like, I mean, no matter what, this is probably going to continue for a good while too, right? Like these rates aren't going to like astronomically drop to where it's like, whoa, and a crazy, big thing.
We're not going to see 3% rates anytime soon, or 4% rates anytime soon. I mean, majorly in conventional world. Right. End of the year, we'll probably be in the low fives, if maybe 4.99 for conventional, but that still puts FHA 4.25, right? 4 1/8 in VA. So, and that the only positive thing now is also FHA came out and they lowered the mortgage insurance on a monthly basis, which is going to save the average person $117 to $125 a month.
That's a lot. Yeah. Then when's that going into effect?
As right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing it as of now.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, those are the kinds of things that we obviously need to be seeing that are going to help the affordability get back in play. But, that's affordability. But price, it's just not, it's not going to change much. Right. I've been saying it, where it's kind of just we're reflecting that aspect of the Bay Area where there's that threshold that we're just not going to break under. Like, absolutely not. I think, the days of seeing like 3-bedroom houses that are like actually livable being sold at 300,000 and around there, it's we're not going to see them. Like I said, that
maybe in Stockton, maybe.
Well, like even then, that house in Stockton, right? Like that one was it was a 2-bedroom being sold for 310. So
yeah, you're not going to see it. Yeah, most 3 bedrooms are 400, even in some places you don't want to live.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, at least 325 to 350, right?
Well, you need if you want to find anything like that, you need to go up to Tuolumne County, Calaveras County, and it's going to be a unique situation. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, no, and then and that's where you have to consider. I mean, even when I first started in this business, it's always been, my goal has always been to get it across to everybody that if you don't own at all and you haven't purchased, and you can go to a lender and you get qualified, right? Like come to somebody like yourself that's actually going to go ahead and tell them like, hey, this is where you are at. This is what you can do to get there. That all still is the same thing. Those are the steps that need to be taken in order to actually hopefully get to home ownership one day. But everybody who wants to wait,
get to home ownership, don't say one day. That sounds like
forever. But just to help it. Well, that's the thing too, right? Is, I mean, we do say it all the time where sometimes someone says, hey, you know what, I want to buy a house in 2 months, right?
Right.
They wait for the 2 months, and then that 2 months turns into 4 months or 6 months or whatever, because they just didn't understand the situation. They wait for the 2 months, then they come to you, and then it's like, oh, well, we got things to work on. But what I'm trying to say is it's always the important part of when you're looking at real estate is, I think it's always like, it's like the same thing with even making a certain amount of money, right? To make that initial jump, to have that initial purchase, things are, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit and everything. But once you get that first purchase, that's where many doors are opening up. But more than anything, I mean, as long as you can just go get qualified and afford the payment, you shouldn't be waiting for a big price drop, and you shouldn't be waiting for, a big drop in interest rates either. Because it's like what we said, right? It's having that time of ownership, that time of equity being built, that then you can use for something else.
By the way, the next time we think rates are going to go down is when the February job reports comes out on March 10th. And then that's what I talked about already. And then you also have the CPI coming out on March 14th. So
Yeah.
those are when we're going to see rates potentially go down again. We feel they're going to be bond friendly, but like you say, don't wait. Getting your contract, we can wait to lock you. I have some clients who came over the weekend and said, I'm waiting to lock you on March 14th. I'm waiting because it's not going to get any worse. Meaning that these numbers should go the opposite way. It would have to be a very unique situation for rates to keep going up.
Right.
So, and we also have the Russia and the China thing we're working on. We've sent troops into over close to Vietnam. That kind of stuff will cause rates to go down because the uncertainty of war and other things.
Yeah. So, but definitely, I mean, what we want you guys to know, exactly like Ed said, don't stop the search, because right now we're still able to lock in those deals. Right. And that's like the perfect game plan. Lock in, get a good deal once the rates drop, because I'm pretty sure, next month, and I mean, as we start rolling into spring and everything, those are the big changes that we're going to see.
And one of the things we can do now, which we couldn't do before, is we can do soft pulls with 3 bureaus and then still fully underwrite you with that, where before we had to do hard pulls, and then you get all those nice phone calls from everybody. And now you won't. We're going to tell you to go to optoutprescreen.com, put in your information, opt out, takes 7 days, go to do not call list.gov, go on there, put your phone numbers in there, and that takes 31 days. Do those 2 things, and by the time we get done to the end of your close of your loan to do the hard pull, no one will bother.
No, and that's major.
It's huge. And it doesn't affect your FICO score, right? And we get, before, the problem was we get one score, or we would just get your debts. We wouldn't get the scores. Now we're actually getting the scores, which is really good.
Yeah.
And we could use that to underwrite. And the other thing which is new for us, which I'm going to tell you, is we do construction loans now, 10% down.
Nice. So how much do they kind of like finance, like for the construction part, like up to how much?
Conventional loan amounts.
Oh, okay. So it just
726 500. If it's high balance, it'll be a high balance area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's nice.
Yeah, we didn't do them. We did them, but it wasn't the best program. This program's through the company I use all the time, and they know how to do everything. And the fact that they came out with it is going to be amazing. I just wish they'd come back with a high balance anywhere product, which was what they get in the Bay Area. We got it over here also under high balance anywhere.
Yeah. No, that's big.
Yeah, it's totally big.
And is it like, as far as like they could just be like one standing wall? Like, will they?
Well, this is a brand new purchase, so you not purchase, but a brand new build. So you would buy the lot and include the whole construction loan on it.
Okay, so that's So would you be able to just buy a piece of land somewhere as long as it's residentially zoned?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Or if you have it already, then it's considered a refinance to do that purchase, to do that construction loan. It's very easy to do. Yeah, before we had it, it just wasn't as great, and it's only single family home, meaning that it's stick built. It can be modular and stick built on site, but it cannot be the other one everybody confuses, which is mobile home / manufactured homes. It cannot be on those. Even though we can put those on a permanent foundation, that program will not work for that.
Got it. Yeah. So just to get a quick wraparound on it. So how much down is it?
10.
So just 10% down.
And that can be your lot. So say you bought a lot and you've been paying on it, you can use the lot as your down payment.
Cool.
As long as it's enough value in there for what you're trying to do. Which I was looking for a construction loan for the longest time, and then mine got taken away, and I really didn't want to use it. Now I have a company that I'm talking, they do the same stuff I do all the time, where people go, "You got that done that fast?" Yeah, that's those people. So they know what they're doing, and that's why I'm glad they have it.
So on average, how much is it costing right now to build? Like,
I don't know. It depends on your location. It depends on where you're buying everything. Bay Area is probably like $500, some ridiculous number. I know when we were trying to build, it went up so much that it was another. I don't want to keep going on today, but we need to maybe talk about this a little bit more on Thursday. But our cost was additional 37%, which is $37,000 per every 100,000. So if you figured a $600,000 home, which ours was like $800,000. That's a lot of extra money. And if it's $800,000, you're almost close to $240,000 extra cost.
Yeah,
just in this market. So the longer you wait to do this, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
But at least down the road, say 6 months from now, you can then at that point when you can get doors and windows and everything else at that point, everything's been caught up, that you can use this program to build your own home.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Francisco. And